Yeah, you are welcome again to today's podcast. Last episode, we talked about light camera development, and today we have come with another beautiful topic to share with you, our great listeners. Before we go into today's topic, I want to wish you all our listeners out there who have been inspiring us on this podcast, making us to go in the stretch to look for interesting topics to place before you. On behalf of this vigilant crew member, we say Happy Easter celebration. And to our Muslim brothers and sisters, we say amen to your prayers. You are in the season of Ramadan right now, and Ramadan, I can see that so this topic, we just bring it because of the atmosphere, the Easter and the Ramadan. We say we are super grateful for the views and other positive responses. Please don't forget to always view, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel and all other of our social media handles. Oh yes, before we delve into today's topic, which is forgiving the unforgivable, let me quickly introduce ourselves. My name have not changed. I still remain Ide Alois Grace. And today we have Elizabeth and Favor Eya, the Igbo militant the Eze ones. So they are here with me today on this podcast show. So we are going to be delving into it. Okay, Easter is a time when Christians around the world reflect on the message of forgiveness, reconciliation, and redemption embodied in the resurrection of Jesus Christ in Nigeria, a country grappling with various social, political, and ethnic tension. The Easter season offers profound lessons for fostering harmony, healing wounds, and building bridge across divides. So, ladies, we are here again once again. Thank you. I welcome you to this special podcast. Yeah. I'm really happy to have you here this Thursday. Today I don't know if you are feeling the Easter atmosphere already, and maybe
we are in the mood.
Yeah, in the mood, I can see.
Yes.
So, ladies, our topic today, we are going to be having the forgiving the unforgivable. How do you see the topic? My first question right now should be: is the topic? Do you see the topic or the issue in line with the atmosphere, the Easter celebration and the Ramadan? Do you see it that is something we dedicate topic on to talk about?
So much about the Christian religion on Easter. I think forgiveness is a very thoughtful topic for us to talk about, because looking at Christ's death, it was all about sacrifice in a society that he wasn't fully accepted. He was a man of the few, but yet he had his mind on something, and he didn't look at the discrimination, the negligence, the rejection. He looked above all of that, rather. He looked above all of that and
still sacrifice.
He forgave everyone, because he had his mind on something, and he didn't want the injustice, the segregation, the discrimination going on in the society to make him change his mind.
Okay.
And he was able to forgive and achieve what he came for.
What a great sacrifice. What a great it always takes the grace of God. Before we came into the air, I was talking to Elizabeth. She said, forgive me. For forgiveness. It's a very tough topic, and it's not everything you have to forgive. Like, I want her to pour her heart on this podcast today. So firstly, let me ask you a favor. How do you define forgiveness? Because we are going to be delving into it. How do you define it in your own terms?
Okay, I will first of all give you this attribute. It is a conscious act. It is a thoughtful act. It's mindful. You can't be coerced into forgiving someone. So it's a
willingly.
It's a deliberate action. It's a choice. for you to say that I want to let go of this resentment or bitterness that I have against this person. And funny enough, we forgive ourselves too, because we have done
Wrong
ourselves
ourselves.
so many
Yes.
things, and yes, we forgive ourselves. So it's deliberate, it's a choice. Nobody can tell you. If there's been a situation that you were forced to go and say sorry, you should forgive this person, go and make amendments with so person, I think it is not an act of forgiveness, because
We're
forced.
forced.
It's a choice that you make. You don't have to be forced. And again, you can forgive, and also you can be at the other end. You can be forgiven. Most times you are the one doing the forgiving, and at other times you are the one being forgiven. So that is all I have to say about.
Yeah, you have stated it rightly. I think that explanation is well acceptable. Elizabeth, now back to you as we are delving into this forgiveness because I can see you fancy. I see you remembering all those people that have wronged you, or maybe people that you have wronged, because it's not only someone that wronged us. We cannot say that we don't wrong people.
It's a
And
word
this
of
is an
offense.
avenue. This is a season where reconciliation, forgiveness, you forgive people and ask for forgiveness too. So it's not as if you want to forgive people. Remember those that you have hurt too.
Yes.
So Elizabeth, now back to you. Can you share your personal experience that could point the fact that forgiveness today is difficult?
All right, that's a good question. Before I proceed to give my experience,
Okay.
I'd like to say forgiveness. How we define forgiveness really matters a lot. For most people, forgiveness is that, oh, this person, I no longer hold grudges against you that you did this to me. But is that truly forgiveness? Because, like Favor defined, forgiveness is actually a deliberate act, a decision that you want to let go. Letting go is hard. We claim forgiveness is that we are forgive, but did we actually let go? If that incident,
We are going
if
there.
something to happen or something happens now, the truth is that you have not forgotten. You will still recall that moment. So that brings me to an experience that I had in the past. You said I was okay. I was kind of vocal about the fact that I said the unforgivable should remain unforgiving, because there are some people that after doing something wrong, they are not remorseful.
Yes.
They are not remorseful. Regardless, I think forgiveness is not actually a religious issue.
It's not.
It's pertaining
Yes,
to everybody,
yes.
be it you're a
Universal.
pagan, be it you serve Buddha or anything. It is universal. It applies to everyone. We need forgiveness. So back to my experience, I think that was after my graduation year. There's this guy I actually did a job for, and his project. All right, we agreed on this fee, and I had to even come down for my normal fee because of, number one, he's a colleague, number two, he's a church member. So that bond we share, like, family member in the same church and, junior colleague, I consider the guy. So the guy made half payment. It was mainly my balance. I had to stress myself for that job because I wanted him to do well and have an A in that course. Along the line, like, I particularly was sleeping in a cafe because my system developed for that period to do this guy's job. So all of a sudden the guy came and was like, they have shifted their defense date forward, that I should please help him to finalize everything. I did. And the supervisor is someone who is very demanding. He wants, excellence in everything. I did the job. I told him, okay, what I used to do is, before I release the final job to anybody or manuscript, you have to complete my pay. Okay, now he was like, please, he's going to do that, but right now they have to pay some money for their defense, and that's the money he wants to use. My guy sold new shirt for defense for my bar, like about 5. I did not say anything. I considered it like, oh, this person is actually, that bond. Let's do it that way. One month, I did everything, kept in the system that he should go to the cafe and print. Around 7, somebody was just knocked on my burglary. I was like, by this time it's too early. He was the one. He said that he went to the cafe, they can't find the work. I had to leave. Like, I had to leave what I was doing. I've not baited, I've not brushed, nothing. Just wore recap and, went with him to the cafe. I stayed there for till almost 1, trying to ensure that I format the work and everything, because the thing got scattered. He said he's going to pay me my money the next day. The next day I asked him. He said he's going to pay, don't worry, by month end. The funny thing is that month end, it looked like Nollywood movie that you already planned the script, but the script not shock you. I even wrote the script. That kind of thing.
The script is not scripting.
Like you are now shocked. I think there's a movie like that where you plan script, but the script now starts scripting itself. From 1 month, it turned to 2 months, 3 months, became 6 months. And the guy kept giving excuses. We'll see in church. What is happening? What of my money? Let me just say it was only me 5K. I mean, God, you are wearing new shoes. You can't tell me that you don't do things. And this guy was doing business that period. It was like, don't worry, that he's going to sell some shoes and give me my money. Every time I kept asking this guy for my money, he kept giving me one excuse. The next thing will be like, I will like, okay, if I travel back to Lagos, you send the money. Say no problem. I'll call him. The guy will tell me that he's going through stuffs. Was I not going through stuffs? I needed that money. Because that money, I had to replace it from somebody else's money. So I was thinking that if he sent the money, I would just put it back. Yeah. The guy kept giving me reasons upon reasons. It got to a point, he stopped picking my calls. What? Calls started going to voicemail. Messages on WhatsApp unresponded. Most times I would call, he would cut the call. Like, that was actually what even got me pissed off, that how can I be begging for my money? He kept using these things are not going well for him. I understood as someone who is empathetic. So I just had to just feel for him. I was like, oh, no problem. You're going through a lot. 1 year turned to 2 years, then 3 years. So the thing is that the guy was not remorseful. Every time I called, his action displayed that I was disturbing him for my money. That's how his action was. So that kind of person wasn't even feeling remorseful that he's owing me. And you kept giving excuses. Okay, I now told a friend of mine that spoke to him. The guy stopped messaging me and everything. I got so angry and pissed off. I had to tell him that no problem. Since you don't want to pay me that money, just take that money. But God will collect that money from me. I was not happy. Okay, now that's over 3 years now. But believe me, 3 years down the lane, that guy, I've forgotten I've forgiven the action that he's owing me, but I can't forget it. The last time he messaged me, I told him, guy, see, if you really want us to start bonding back, because that thing you did just broke that relationship, give me my 5K. We saw on Sunday, I did not talk to him. I told my friend, if you send me my 5K, we'll start talking. I mean, that's actually my experience. I just feel that his action, he wasn't really remorseful. So that's why.
Okay, that means there are some criteria that makes unforgiveness difficult in today's...
Exactly, because the person makes it difficult to forgive
people,
them.
Can you just put a light on that story? Do you think did you think that forgiveness, when someone, maybe the offender is not sorrowful, how do you handle it? And forgiveness is very important. So how do you handle it? Just to make your mind at peace. And
it depends on the case.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
no plain on her own story now.
Sometimes forgiveness is not reconciliation. That's what people don't get.
Okay, yeah.
You forgive someone. It's a kind of forgiveness is selfish. Let me put it this way: you are doing it for yourself. So, what if I should say that Elizabeth should forgive now? My unforgiveness is that she should let go in her own heart, but that does not excuse the action of that very young man, and it doesn't mean that they should go back to being friends. But that doesn't mean that.
I think I picked something from her story. She said they saw last week Sunday, but she refused to greet him because the guy did not greet him. So possibly she's still
obvious. He's still holding that.
That is what I'm saying. But to her now, she
how
said,
you define forgiveness matters. I really let go, but the thing is, I did not forget. I did not forget.
But you can still greet the person and still remember everything.
I'm not willing to even reconcile that relationship. Yes. Because see, forgiveness has step. Because that's how you say, okay, let me do it let me have peace of mind. I had peace of mind. Like, I sleep well. When you don't forgive most times, your heart is heavy. But I had to just do it and say, let me just allow this be in the past. Yes, it's in the past. I did not forget. That's what I'm saying.
Peace of mind.
I did not forget.
You have peace of mind because you are not seeing the person.
But the moment you see the person,
thank you.
When I saw him, I still had peace of mind. It just felt like nobody passed. Sincerely,
that is why
it felt like nobody
forgiveness
passed.
is very important. Because when you see the person, you begin to feel pain.
There's a reason the Bible said forgive and forget.
That it's very difficult to
in Nigeria we forgive, but forgetting is hard.
Okay. Do you still want to say something
No,
about
it's just very sure. I've said it before that forgiveness doesn't ascertain, like it's not automatic reconciliation. That I've forgiven you, I might forgive you,
does
but
not mean we can reconcile
cannot bounce
to go back to
the
what we are
standard
used to
of that
be.
relationship or friendship or closeness. It has left a mark there, and that mark is for a reason. It doesn't mean that both of you are not still good, but it has taught you a lesson, and you know that this is the way this person does business, and let's just put a line there, and everybody is still very okay, and we can even greet.
Okay. Yes, Elizabeth, I want to purposely ask you this question. How, because of this story and because of the way you are still pouring out this forgiveness, how important is forgiveness to us and society at large? How important it is?
Well, forgiveness is very, very important. Like, it plays a vital role in the growth of the society and even any organization we find ourselves. Let's bring it down to workplaces where people have strife, where people, have confrontational, arguments, where they raise their voices.
It must surely
now, believe
occur.
me, the next day, everybody is going to move like nothing happened and stuff like that. But did they truly forgive? For the purpose of that, for the fact that they're going to work together, they just have to blend, all those things. Now, did that person really forgive and let go? Because another thing might happen that will now bring that past accident or incident, and the person will now make reference to it. So it is important, because if we don't really forgive, what happens is that we keep holding grudges. And when there's grudge, growth can occur. In the company setting, growth will never occur.
In every setting.
Because that malice, that grudge, will keep making you not to put in your all, because you have that person at heart, like you're holding that person in your heart. So because of that, you will not want to give 100% to that person, because you are like, I want to prepare this person, or I want to prove a point to him. So most times in office setting like this, if people don't really imbibe the culture of forgiving people, in the sense that after you forgive, you let go and reconcile and forget that action, it affects productivity, it affects growth. Now, coming down to even churches, coming down to the society at large, when people don't forgive, even at marketplace, you see people selling same thing, and maybe a customer is coming and wants to buy from this shop. They are both selling the same thing. Imagine somebody walks into your shop and you are selling the same thing the other person is buying, but the person looks at your shop and now go to the other person's shop and buy that same thing that you have in your shop. Unintentionally, you actually have like a kind of, maybe that kind of contempt for like, what does this person have in his shop that I don't have? We are both selling the same thing. So if you check it in that kind of market setting, even at the local level, it still affects these people, because someone will not know that because the customer went into the other person's shop and did not buy it from his own shop is the reason why somebody is holding him or her at heart. So those kind of things, when you look at it, it contributes to hate, the fight people have. And when people are not at peace and unity, it affects the society, it affects us. And even for unforgiveness even leads to, I think we talked about tribalism the other time. It leads to all these things, because when you allow it to, to grow, when we don't allow it to die, we nurture all these things.
It's a little seed and it starts growing,
sprouting big fruit. So unforgiveness is really, really toxic in any sector, any environment, anywhere. If you really want to grow in the society, if you really want to grow in our place of work, at the marketplace, or any level, it is important that we learn to not just forgive people, but let go of the past. I mean, when you hypo a cloth and it becomes so white. So it's just like, if you can pour hypo on that past and allow that past to just be wiped out, with that consciousness that the kind of sin you commit, I mean, if Christ can forgive it, then who are we not to also let go? Me that's talking, the boy that's only made 5K, I'm not even. You're preaching to yourself.
No, that is where I ask
now podcast, please.
No,
you can drop your
what
point.
What are you saying?
I've already dropped my point. That's why I said even I myself.
Yeah, I think you are just preaching to yourself now, and maybe after this podcast, you are going to see
most
that
times
and
we are guilty of the things that
we see. That's true. Yeah, Favor. And going back to you now, what are the steps? What is the step you can highlight to us to forgiveness? The step we can take.
I think that the first thing, there is no particular order to it because of the dynamics of forgiveness.
Okay.
So from my own side, depending on what happened, I think the one of the best way to achieve forgiveness is letting go. Letting go, because like it's if you don't let go, you are not moving anywhere. And one thing about holding grudges is that it can affect your growth, the way you think, your happiness,
your facially self.
What Elizabeth said, that she saw the guy and her face.
I know that
you might
her
be happy,
countenance,
but the moment
that
you
beauty,
see that,
that brightness, you just shrink just that little moment.
Yes,
that's it.
Letting go, like it loses the complicity of grudges. It makes it easier for you to go. Another thing is trying to talk things out. Though sometimes it doesn't work every time. You try to talk things out with the person that you are holding that grudge against, and see, you might even like you tell the person, look at what you did to me, because most times people do things and they don't even know that they have offended you. That's the funniest part. You are the one dying and that person is happy, moving freely, and
you're in bondage, having the chains of unforgiveness. Yes.
And by the time, most times when you now try to tell the person, look at what you did to me so time, and you didn't even realize, the person will be surprised.
Wow.
Why did I do this? They will be surprised, and they are honest like that. So I advise that most times, depending on what has happened, you have to bring the person in and try to talk things out and let them talk, hear from them first, and then I think that can help to boost forgiveness. Okay. Another thing is putting yourself in their position. Some people, what I'm talking about, let me say in the case of betrayal, you say, oh, he or she betrayed me. I trusted them so much. One thing I do is that I don't even trust humans. You are my friend. I can expect anything from you. Don't trust humans. That's one thing. But if someone betrayed you, and that is the cause of your unforgiveness and the enmity and everything, I think that sometimes we should be considerate. There is this very funny story about Adam and Eve in the garden, and people have been saying that Eve just gave up the whole of humanity the moment she ate the apple. And I would just make a joke and tell people that if you were in Eve's shoes, you will rip the whole tree down. So when we are not in the position, you said that
it's very easy to judge.
That person went there and they couldn't even defend me. Most times, if you are the one to be in that position, you will even say what they didn't even ask you to say. Because some people might say some things because they are under pressure.
It's funny, right?
And they will just say it. And when you hear it, you say that the person betrayed you. If you were in their own shoes, you would have done worse. That is where understanding comes in. You try to see things from another perspective, because if you keep on looking at things from one angle, you're going to misunderstand the whole thing. But that doesn't even excuse that betrayal is a very bad thing to do. But in order to ease the tension of unforgiveness, I think that's one step ahead. And again, I think this should be the last thing I have to contribute to this point. You have to give yourself time, especially people that have passed through trauma, that we are abused. You don't force your forgiveness. You don't force it. So it will be faster, so that people say, oh, she has a forgiving spirit. That's bullshit. Sorry, should I say this? You shouldn't. For people that have been through trauma, is a stage for them. You don't forgive immediately, because it might even affect you if you try to rush it. There are steps to it. Like, you give yourself time, and don't force yourself to forgive anybody, because most of their actions towards you are unjustifiable, and you shouldn't be the right person to justify them. But then you are willing to forgive. What you should do for yourself, for your mental health, is for you to give yourself time to heal and to forgive those people. That's my
that was a brilliant analysis out there. It was awesome. To me, I felt when you, in my own case, when someone offends me, I tend to find the excuse for the person on behalf of the person in my heart. Maybe the person was not in a good mood. I'll just for me to have that my peace. So I think just find a way of making an excuse on behalf of the person. At least I think it will ease the tension in you too.
Yes.
So Elizabeth, do you have any other thing to maybe?
Yeah, just little.
Okay.
What you just said now most times doesn't apply in some cases. Okay, when you keep finding excuses, I think that was one of the things we're taught at Choice Mentorship School. A good leader is someone who is able to find excuse when people misbehave or do things that are wrong. Now, when you keep finding excuses that people do something wrong, do you think you are actually going to be fine? Because deep down, even when you want to find an excuse that, okay, she said that word because of maybe she's probably in a bad mood, deep down, when you try to just relax or be in a quiet environment, that particular statement she made is going to come back to you. So most times, I feel the easiest way to actually let go or forgive people when they do certain things is at that moment, don't respond, find the excuse like you have said. But if you have time and that person is someone close to you, you can actually ask the person, okay, what happened? Why did you say that? Why did you react that way? I'm someone that if we have an issue now or we have an argument, see, I have to discuss that thing with you for me to let go. If we don't, believe me, I will keep remembering it. And I don't love remembering things with people.
Okay, sorry to cut you short. If you don't have an excuse
Right.
on their behalf, you cannot have that thinking of going to meet the person.
That's
to talk
why I said
about
you
it.
need to have an excuse. But for
Because
how long
if
will
you
that
did not-
excuse
if you did not-
sustain you?
If you did not make
can't
an
keep
excuse
giving
on their
excuses for
behalf,
someone.
you will just fall into conclusion.
No,
That's
she
I
validates
understand
your
what you're
point,
saying.
but she's saying that
I'm
that's
agreeing
one
with you,
point.
but I'm saying that
Yes.
how long will you keep giving someone excuses
Because of
or
your own
making
peace.
excuses?
because of your own
Now let me
peace.
tell you, that person keep doing that thing once, twice, 3 times. It's no longer a mistake. It's now a deliberate action.
Okay, what
And
you are saying,
keep
there are
making-
sometimes you
yes.
address it.
So there's some
One,
that
she's
for
saying that
me,
it doesn't apply in all
for
cases.
me,
and most times it's
I'll
not
make
sufficient.
excuse.
Okay.
I'll make excuse.
Okay.
Yes, that's good. But we need to address it. Why? Because I need my peace of mind. Because people think that because I've excused that behavior, you have peace of mind. But do we really have peace of mind? Because the next time she does something, you remember that incident. And that was not really forgiveness. Like this guy now that I just spoke about. Now imagine we had trashed this issue. We spoke and he was willing to allow us to dialogue and really trash it out. You know what I would have done? Because it's not the first person owing me money or someone owing me money that I did. That I
Or
let
just
go. But
because how
he
it's
was.
placed.
I did not really address it. I kept
okay.
giving him excuses. He's not doing well. Something's happening to him. He's sick. Okay, no problem. But we did not address it. And because we did not address it, it became a prolonged kind of like I had it in my heart for a long time. Now, to add to what people have said, see, to forgive someone is to err is human, to forgive is divine. So it means that it takes divine effort to even really forgive. That's the truth. It takes divine effort. You can imagine Peter that denied Jesus 3
Okay,
times.
divine
But
effort.
Jesus said that I've prayed for you, Peter. Jesus forgave him even before he denied. So it takes divine effort to truly forgive someone. We're talking about forgiveness forgiveness. It takes divine effort. The reason is because we can forgive as humans. We can say, okay, I'm no problem. I'm forgiving you. Let's go, and let's just become friends. But people don't forget. It's like that moment remains in your subconscious mind. So even when you try to let go, if something happened, it triggers it back. You can't tell me that people you have claimed to have forgiven, when they do something, don't remember what they have done in the past. There's something I used to tell my mom those days. When you know our mothers, they'll do good to neighbor. They'll be like, I'll be doing good to people. My mom always preach do good. If that person now do something, mom will now be like, well, I was the one that gave her. You know that kind of thing. You don't know when unintentionally you will now make reference to the good you did to the person because that person did something to make you unhappy. So if we truly want to forgive people, we need to understand that it takes divine effort. It is not easy. It is not easy to truly forgive if we are asking people to forgive because you don't know what that person has gone through. You ask someone to forgive whoever raped him. That's why I said it takes divine effort. Most people that if you just sit down and speak with people who have been victim of some, rape and molestation, how did they really forgive? So there was a divine intervention. Is it that I gave my life to Christ? Something happened.
Well accepted.
To forgive people or forgiveness is actually divine. It's
Well
not really.
well accepted.
Forgive people.
That's the point.
Forgiving people is divine. It's not easy.
Okay. I want to ask you this question back. In this, let me say this, in this kind of state or scenario, when we were growing, maybe you did something, your parents your parents will say, you say, oh mommy, I'm the one that break this cup,
Yeah.
and they went ahead and said, are forgiving you, but they still go along my punishing you to that. What's the forgiveness there? I want to know. Can you just put me more light on that?
Well, I feel there's no way. There's no need to. That's not a big deal.
Chastising and forgiveness.
I just feel that our parents are fulfilling the scripture, spare the rod and spoil the child. They forgive you, yes, but still there's a need for discipline.
Do you think they really understand that word of forgiveness? Okay.
They did. So how you now know if your mom or dad really forgave you is how they beat you. Because if you say, "Daddy, please forgive," and then now say, "Okay, because I want to flog him like 20 stroke, let me now." But you will know if they really forgave you, if the strokes of the cane, or if your daddy used belt, he did not forgive you. He didn't. If you now say, "Let me use cane," he forgave you small. So most times, let's just say our parents are trying to, and in most situations in some home, once you even just say, "Daddy, forgive me," your punishment is doubled. That's the truth. In most homes, don't even just say, "Daddy, please." Allow them to vent their anger. So may I feel that our parents don't really understand the concept of forgiveness. So even my mom will be expecting you to say, "Mommy, please, Mommy, please." But what you say, "Please," should be angry.
Like my father, you dare not go and tell someone to come and plead on your behalf.
What makes them do that is that kids, they do things deliberately, and for your parent to like go on to flog you or punish you or give you show, they know that they need that you did that, like you consciously. It wasn't a mistake. So we want to be excused for so many things, but they know that if they don't give you that punishment or tell you to kneel down, raise your hands, close your eyes, open your mouth, that you will go back and still do the same thing. But when you are going the next time and you remember what happened the last time, you will caution yourself.
Okay. This favor, though we have talked about it, yes. So but I still want to bring bring us back to that. Must I forgive if the offender isn't sorry?
Okay, I think we have even said that, yes, but let's re-emphasize it again. I said it before that forgiveness is something that you do for yourself. You don't even have to carry the second party along. You don't have to. If you want to really forgive, whether they say sorry or they admit to what they have done, or you don't even need them. It's a selfish something. Sorry, I'm calling it selfish, but it's selfish because you are after your own healing. You are after your own peace of mind. Because believe me, some people they are never willing to admit what they have done. They will never see it as wrong.
Stubborn,
yeah, they don't want to. So if you keep waiting for them to say it, you might wait to eternity and nothing will happen. So if you actually mean forgiveness, you are doing it on your own. You are forgiving the person regardless of their admission, of their involvement in that very case. You don't need their approval for you to forgive. It's your own thing, and it's for your own benefit, for your healing, for your peace, and for your growth as well. So you do it selfishly.
Okay, let me ask you this question. What responsibilities do religion and political leaders have in promoting forgiveness, reconciliation, and national healing? How can they effectively dialogue and reconciliation process within Nigerian society?
I think we have most of the things that we do say on our podcast, we have told them like
previously,
bit by bit in
from different topics.
The other previous episodes. I think that one of the things that the leaders, whether in politics or in religion, should do is lead by example. That's one thing, because you cannot be saying A and you are doing Z. Your life is just the opposite of what you are saying. Just like I and Elizabeth, we are doing today. Elizabeth is holding grudges, and she's preaching to people. I just pray that she will eventually forgive.
That guy has to pay me my 5K before we start knocking.
You want to drag the girl like a better person generator.
We have to lead by example. You can't get into a position with chaos, and in the long run, you start talking about.
And two wrongs cannot make it right. Then.
That's it. That's already a bad foundation, and people, they know what you did, and all of a sudden you come to preach to us about peace and everything. But find ways they can still go on by fostering mediation and peaceful dialogue. We have so many conflicting communities, especially in the north and some parts in the southeast. Communities that are conflicting, the herders farmers clash. These are places that the government can come in and mediate, because these people, if the government are actually involving themselves in their cases, I don't think it will be getting to the extent that people will get killed and murdered in their farms or in their homes. It's because the government are not actually mediating. When I mean mediation, is coming in between the two of them and say, okay, Oga A, what's the problem? They say, B, what's your problem?
So and you not be one side.
Yeah, you now try to strike a balance between their what they want,
disagreements.
And then you try to now reconcile them. I think that's the thing that the government can do, and also they should foster and boost dialogues between communities. When you see like community and community can sit down and they discuss, iron down their issues. And again, is addressing injustice. We have seen a lot of things that are happening in the country, and the government will keep a blind eye. They will just pretend they didn't see it. We'll be expecting, let's hear from the president, let's hear from nobody will talk. And
when it escalates,
people will just go on Twitter and say anything that they want, because the government has not said anything. But if it is a thoughtful government that once anything happens, is it police brutality,
stepping,
you just come and put your own 2 cents, and not only your 2 cents, you act. So when you act against injustice, I think that is a way of boosting forgiveness in the society. Again, I think this should be the last one, is addressing historical grievances. Because when it comes to tribalism and ethnicity, problems that we are having is based on what we have heard in the past, what they did to us, what they did not do. They did not do to us. This is like what is happening in the Commonwealth today. We have Prince Charles going over and going to African countries like Kenya, even there in America. He has gone to Canada, and people are rejecting him. Why? Because these are people that suffered during the colonial era, and there was no official apology that were given to those people, and you are just coming to make them look like a fool. Come and say, oh, what we did, it was like you're trying to sorrow on what you have done, but then you're not apologizing to them. The last time he went to Kenya, they did not accept him. People had a lot
they
of
need that verbal
to say. So for us to move forward in peace and unity and forgive, you have to first of all admit to what you have done, and then you apologize. So what I'm trying to say in essence, that we cannot leave what has spoiled in the
and you think we should just dwell on the present,
on the ground, or is it the base, and you now try to jumpstart the future for us to live in unity. I think there is where education also should come in, where we educate the masses. They should know the importance of peace building and social cohesion, and how it can help to bolster
the society, the economic
unity, boost unity and
other societal growth.
I think that is what I have to say concerning this.
That was a brilliant contribution. Elizabeth, I want to ask you, she said living by example. I want to let me start with this story. A reverend father in a Catholic church, maybe the parents was murdered maybe 5 years ago.
Yes.
And now I've not been to Catholic, but I think with what I used to see in movie,
this is a story you made up, and it can happen in real life.
Yes, and I've heard it actually. I've heard the story. So I don't know how Catholic settings play, but with the one I'm watching movie, maybe the members, when you want to come and confess, you come and confess to the Reverend Father.
Yeah.
Now this member in the church, in the Catholic church, came to confess to the father that, Father, I murdered so person so time, and I raped so person, and it happens to be the parent of the Reverend Father and the sister that was raped, the sister of the Reverend Father. Now, how do you want? Kasala don't bust a V.
This is actually where to forgive is divine.
To forgive is how do
You are very
because like because this question is saying how does political leaders, so this is this a religious leaders, so this is a religious leader
And
now.
remember, he has been forgiving like worse sins, but now this one is connected to
he's
him.
a victim now, and you imagine it, if it was another person, how do you want to address it? Now it is him. How do you want him to handle it? If
See,
you
let me this question or be this story has a simple answer. I already answered this before. It's simple. Reverend Father has been preaching about forgiveness.
Okay.
That you are forgiving somebody does not mean that you will not report the person. Now let me explain something. Do you know that? Let's take it down to Christianity. When Christ said he came to reconcile, those sinners and stuff like that. He did not come to condemn them and, Now, let's bring it down. If Christ is saying that, do you realize that there's some people who have lived a very bad life, right? And finally, they give their life to Christ. Maybe a lady, she did several abortions when she was still a prostitute. Now she's giving her life to Christ. Have you seen where some people have to pay the price? For the wages of sin is death. Let me tell you, sin has a price you have to pay. Yes, God forgives, but there's still a price, all right? Now, do you know that lady might end up, after everything, she will lose her womb and might end up struggling to have a child. There's some people that it will not happen to. It might be that that's actually the consequences for what she did when she was still living in the world. That's the price she paid or she's paying. Now, if that lady, are you telling me God did not really forgive her? Because Christ said if we confess
that's where grace sets in.
There's grace
different.
now. Does it mean that God did not really forgive that lady? Because now she's married, she's praying and hoping to God, but yet there's no child. 8 years down the line, because of the mistake she made, she has no womb and stuff like that. Is grace not speaking for her? Because anybody can access grace. Now look at that kind of scenario is happening. Bring it down to this Reverend Father. If I were the Reverend Father, I'm going to forgive. But that doesn't mean that I will not call police to arrest the man. He has to receive. I'm forgiving him, yes, but he has to be punished by the law because murder is wrong. And I'm forgiving him. Even God have done that, but he came to now confess. And this case is still ongoing. If I'm the Reverend Father, I will forgive him. But I'll tell him that, son, I'm forgiving you. But right now, just start looking for a way to leave this country because I'm going to call the police.
Okay, you will still give him a clue
I'll
of
give
that.
him a clue. That's how I want to forgive him. That, son, I want to forgive you. But do you know that you actually murdered my wife and this thing? So what I'll just do is leave this state so that they don't find you. Because if the police find you, so I'm actually going to give him a clue, but I'll forgive. But that doesn't mean that he will escape punishment. It is part of it.
Yes.
You have to pay the price for any sin you have committed. If not, we should not have laws. I mean, what are the laws if everything ends with, my Lord, forgive me, I should have not killed him? We should not have laws. So laws are there to ensure there is order and things are being done properly. So that man who has killed someone came to confess because he's not having peace of mind. And God now, maybe the prayer they went for that be praying all this while, God now brought him. I'll forgive him. Tell him that please leave this state, but God, if they catch you, life imprisonment.
Yes.
Let me
contribute,
go to what Elizabeth said. It's just like what we have been saying since we started this podcast. You said something about parents not actually forgiving. They are forgiving you, but if they don't give you that punishment, you won't realize the bad that you have done. She gave an example of someone that has done several abortions and in the process lost her womb. It's not like God cannot do something for her, but there is a lesson to be learned in everything that you do, whether good or bad. And that goes down to the story of David in the Bible, where she killed someone's husband, collected the wife, everything. He suffered several.
That's a great
God
example.
brought punishment, and he prayed. He did one, but several punishment came from out of that one. The question is, did he not ask God for forgiveness? He did.
He did, and God forgave him, but that price, he had to pay the price for it. And what I'm trying to say in essence is that there are some wrongs which are criminal, like criminal wrongs that you yourself, it is not even up to you to justify that person is a murderer, a rapist. Personally, you are forgiven, but the law has to do something about it.
That's
long story.
No long story. I think he is well
Not
explained.
Nollywood movie. It's real life.
He's well explained. He's well explained. And pointing to the place you said you will still go to an extreme or to an end, telling him
That's
he should
where my own forgiveness
Your
was
church
born.
mind.
Yes, I want to help you.
It was really touching there.
And to answer that question, you said what responsibility do
Yes, okay.
does political leaders and this thing have in promoting forgiveness, right?
Okay, yes.
Well, I think the first thing should be they should maintain the tenets preached by the Nigerian national anthem: love, peace, justice, and unity. Where there is justice for the aggrieved, regardless of who the suspect is, that's the problem we have in Nigeria. Most people are not, when it now relate it down to what's happening, is that we're not even saying justice. Justice belongs to who have the money. So if we can provide justice, regardless of who the suspect is, even if the suspect is the president, let justice rule.
Let him face
Now,
the
when we do that,
consequence.
you will see that peace will strive. When people don't get justice, peace can strive. You see them at the police station. You see them holding placards, protesting. That's what happened. Nigerians are still aggrieved. We lost youth at Lekki and nobody said anything. But do you know, if justice had happened or prevailed, peace will strive. Now, when peace strives, if people are at peace, love will flourish. Peace breeds love. When there is peace, love is going to really breed. Now, and because people have been offered a means to heal from the evil done to them, you see that love will start happening. Now, where love lives, it summons its companion, unity. Where there is love, you find unity. That's the truth. Because everyone wants to do what would be for the betterment of his or her brother. So I think if our leaders can promote national healing, reconciliation, and peace, if they can maintain, the answer is already provided to us. Every day we sing Nigerian national anthem. We already have the solution there. Whoever composed that song already gave us the answer. Just like a riddle that it's simple. Just place it together. Love, justice, peace, unity is what we really need. If our leaders can really enforce it in this country, believe me, it will be easy for us. So we need our leaders to enforce it. People will heal faster. Reconciliation will be easier accomplished. And even in areas where people are at war with themselves, you'll see peace coming because everybody is already healing from that. Another way is they can implement the law of equity. When it comes to allocation of resources, can we have our leaders not look at these people are more? These people are more. Can we have equity when you want to distribute resources? Because most people at the north are aggrieved that we're not getting enough. People at the east is saying, oh, they're not doing us fair. People in the Niger Delta is saying, oh, they're exploiting our resources. Can our leaders just make sure that they implement equity? Because this Niger Delta State militants, it is because of they were exploiting their land. And it got to a point that this oil spillage started affecting them. They can't plant crops and stuff like that. Now, imagine if our leaders did not exploit these people and they were thinking about how will these people strive. These people will not be aggrieved. They won't start protesting. They won't start killing people. Or is it the accident that happened where they said some people killed some soldiers and the soldiers retaliated back? Our leaders can ensure that these things are prevented if they do the needful. Then I think, yes, those are the two things I can add to that particular question.
Yeah, that was a great one. It's very explained. Every question we are hit with the answers. So this year we are going to be drawing our curtains for today's podcast with these few conversations of ours. I hope we are not able to confuse them, but to convince them
and
that
to show the mouth of every doubting Thomas that me that even preach forgiveness, I will still forgive. Don't worry.
But convince them that forgiveness is part of a healthy society. Let me leave you with this word: our hearts are all prison. Our hearts are all prison walls. When we hold people captive with chains of unforgiveness gets a bad reputation. But allow me to say something that perhaps have never been said before. The deeper the depth of the heart, the deeper goes the wound, the harder it is to forgive. So this year we are going to be ending today's podcast, and go and enjoy your chicken, your Easter chicken. And to our Muslim brothers and sisters, we wish you many more Ramadan and strength in the Ramadan season. And we are going to be saying bye.
Try and forgive someone today, please.